You know, the foreclosure crisis is still going on, and this morning many banks are still not willing to help people who are at risk of losing their homes. So the federal government is stepping in, but they're not putting fines on banks. Instead, they're actually holding on to incentive money. Joining us now live, Orlando real estate attorney Barry Miller. Barry, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks.
Okay, so what is the federal government doing to try to make these banks accountable?
Well, they give them incentives. For every modification they do, they get anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. Now, what they did is they finally went in and made a report card of what was going on. The 10 largest servicers said that they were all falling short. In particular, they looked at Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase. So what they're doing is they're withholding those incentives of $24 million last month and saying it could end up being some fines, but they're not ready to do that yet.
All right, well, $24 million seems like a lot of money. Some people, though, might say, well, banks, I mean, they're making billions, so it's just a drop in the bucket. Is this enough to hold banks' feet to the fire?
I don't think so. And hopefully it's not too little too late. They really need to step up, put the pressure on these banks to say, get these things done. Stop playing around with people. Stop losing the paperwork and stop putting them in this vicious circle and get the job done. And the government needs to put more pressure on there because there's so many people out there who need this help and qualify for it, and if the banks would just cooperate, it would ease the crisis.
And what's the incentive for the bank not to cooperate? You know, to just kind of say, no, we're not going to do this. Is it just more money that funnels into their pocket?
Absolutely. It's financial incentives. The HAMP program to try to do modifications are there. A lot of people who don't qualify for HAMP, sometimes the banks have their own their own programs to get those done. But they really need to get the pressure on to step up and get it done. And perhaps Congress needs to put some pressure on them. The Treasury Department needs to put more on them because it's just not getting done.
What are your clients telling you about some of the problems? I mean, is this foreclosure crisis here in Central Florida, is it getting worse or is it getting better?
Well, we had a lull in everything because of all the robo-signing and the fraud and all of that. So we went down in foreclosures. What I think we're going to see is we're going to see a big peak in the next 2 to 3 months because a lot of the three major law firms that were dismissed by the banks for irregularities have now hired new firms. They're all geared up. They're going to put a big push to get foreclosures filed. So what we're going to see is we're going to see a flood in the market. Right now we're actually seeing a dip in inventory, which is good for the market and for price stability. But once those foreclosures go through, there's going to be more houses on the market, and then the prices will then go down.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in. Thank you for your insight. Sure. Orlando real estate attorney Barry Miller. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.